Hey, welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling in New York show by Michael Pinter, where I show you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York. And that's what I wanted to show you in a second. And if you're already flipping or wholesaling houses, how you can grow your business. So this is by request. Someone asked about an LLC, and do you need an LLC and pros and cons of an LLC. Um, so I want to show you. Here, can you see that? That is about 60 LLCs that I opened for the houses I bought. Maybe the first 4 years that I did business. I used to get it from a service in Albany, some attorney. I don't do that anymore. I'll talk about how I get LLCs now and how it's cheaper, easier, and you don't need those stupid books. So the only pro I know to not buying a house in an LLC, to buy a house in your own name, is that you can do the eviction if you're going to do an eviction by yourself. That's it. But I don't recommend buying a house not in an LLC, because LLC is an amazing tool. It's a limited liability company or limited liability corporation. And what it means is that you can't be sued for anything done by the LLC past what the LLC owns. So I open a new LLC anytime I buy a property. If I don't buy a property, I'm just wholesaling a property, I won't open an LLC. But opening an LLC is super easy. It's cost $200. I do it online. I'll put the link in if you want to see the link that I use for New York State. It takes 5 minutes. And if you operate a property in an LLC, what it does is it allows you to not get sued if something goes screwed up, if something gets screwed up. So they say you're not really in business until you have litigation. I've had litigation, right? I've been sued, different situations. I've sued people. And when you own one property in separate properties in each LLC, what that does is it reduces cross liability. So let's just say something crazy. Let's just say that you bought a property and one of your contractors is a psychopath, or he hired a psychopath, and the guy goes bananas and breaks a neighbor's car or hurts somebody. So let's say he hurt somebody, right? Or let's say one of your contractors gets hurt on the job. So you can get sued for a lot of money. But if you own the property in an LLC, you're limited to what's in that LLC. So that's why I open separate LLCs for different properties. Because what I don't want is I don't want somebody suing and saying, wow, this is an LLC that has a lot of assets, has multiple properties, I can get a lot of money. If it's limited to that, then you know it's limited. So liability is limited. Somebody trips and falls in front of your property, breaks their head, and you're insured. But how much are you insured for? $300,000, $500,000. What if the guy breaks his neck, God forbid, sues you for $1,000,000? They can only get what's in the LLC. They can only sue that LLC, and it reduces your liability. Also, if there's a lawsuit, God forbid, and somebody wins, and if that LLC is the owner of the property, let's just say some kind of disagreement arises over whether you're supposed to close on a contract. You say there's a title issue, and the seller says there's no title issue, and the seller sues you for specific performances you should perform. The only thing he can get is what's in that LLC. If there's nothing in the LLC, very oftentimes there's nothing in the LLC until you bought the property. There's nothing. He can get a judgment against the LLC, and it won't matter because the LLC has no assets. So an LLC is an amazing thing, and also an LLC for tax purposes is really good because you have the option on how to file for that, right? I file as an S corp, so it passes directly through. But you can also file as a C corp. You have a lot of options. You got to talk to your accountant about that. But an LLC is an amazing device, an amazing tool. It's super easy, literally 5 minutes to create an LLC online. You get the paperwork, and that is it. Simple, easy, no reason not to do it. For $200, it's a steal. Right? It used to be a pain in my ass. I used to pay like 300 and change to this attorney who created these books for me. Ridiculous, unnecessary. I think the truth is, I think at that point it wasn't available online because this was like in 2014, 15. So it's simple, it's easy. I recommend any time you're actually taking possession of property. Now, if you are not taking possession of property, you're just wholesaling, you need an underlying LLC that should exist, and you can then in that LLC wholesale properties. If you are not taking possession of a property, you could do it in the same LLC. That's fine. Remember, wholesaling is when you go to contract and you assign the contract. You never take possession of the property. But if you're actually taking possession of a property, I recommend opening a separate LLC for each property. I know it's $200. Some people say that's crazy. I think it's worth it. think it's worth it to sleep at night for me anyway. I mean, if you're taking out insurance, what do you need insurance for, right? You're buying property for 3 months. What the hell's going to happen? Taking insurance so you can sleep at night, that if the house burns down, someone's going to pay you for it. That's why we do it. And it's the same thing with an LLC. It's really just like a really cheap insurance policy that in case everything hits the fan and goes bad, no one's going to come take your assets. And that is why I would open an LLC for every property. And the reason why separate ones in each property so that they can't take your other properties if they got a judgment against you. So, of course, no one thinks there's going to be a lawsuit. No one thinks they're going to get a judgment against them. No one thinks things are going to go bad. But for $200, it's really a cheap, simple insurance policy, opening an LLC for each property you're going to own. So if you like, so this is by request. And if you have any requests for any topic, I'll be happy to do it. So put in the request. If you are watching on Facebook, not live, but after, I'm going to put all the 7 ways I can help you on top. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put it on the bottom. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Like these videos because they help out my SEO, my search engine optimization very much. So please like. Again, any request, all comments get answered. So anything you have to say, please say it, and I'll respond quickly. Thank you very much for watching today.